It's called the cruelest disease you never heard of, but now that Bruce Willis has gone public with his diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia, or FTD.
So earlier this year, the family of legendary and beloved actor Bruce Willis announced that he had been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. It's a devastating condition that robs many of their ability to speak or communicate.
Yeah, it's a difficult title. It's a good day to die.
The legendary actor Bruce Willis has been diagnosed with a rare brain disease that has rendered the world speechless. However, his family is anything but. It has been reported that the family has suspected foul play in the diagnosis, allegedly pointing fingers at the elitist society's involvement. These allegations have set the industry into a wild frenzy. Let's delve into the nitty-gritty deets of this latest controversy that will have your jaw on the floor. Tallulah Willis, the daughter of Hollywood stars Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, has recently shared a deeply heartfelt essay with Vogue, opening up about her family's emotional journey as they grappled with the devastating diagnosis of Bruce's dementia. In a public announcement made in March, the Willis family disclosed that Bruce had been diagnosed with aphasia, a language disorder caused by brain damage that severely impairs communication skills.
Bruce Willis has been diagnosed with a form of dementia. His family released a statement to say that it was a relief to finally have a clear diagnosis.
This distressing revelation led to Bruce's decision to retire from his acting career. Subsequently, the family confirmed that Bruce's aphasia was a consequence of frontotemporal dementia, a progressive neurodegenerative condition.
It comes just months after it had been announced that he was retiring from acting because of an illness called aphasia.
Tallulah dropped a bombshell that shocked the entire industry. She revealed that her family suspects that Hollywood had something to do with her father's mental condition. She said, "I've known that something was wrong for a long time. It started out with a kind of vague unresponsiveness, which the family chalked up to Hollywood hearing loss. Speak up. Die Hard messed with Dad's ears. Later, that unresponsiveness broadened, and I sometimes took it personally." She bravely admitted that during the early stages of her father's dementia, she had misunderstood his changing behavior. At the time, she thought that he was losing interest in her, particularly as he entered a new chapter of his life by marrying Emma Hemming Willis and welcoming 2 additional children. Now, if one thinks about it, it is quite natural for Tallulah to think that way. "I admit that I have met Bruce's decline in recent years with a share of avoidance and denial that I'm not proud of, but the truth is that I was too sick myself to handle it," she adds, recalling her own struggle with body dysmorphia. "I remember a moment when it hit me painfully. I was at a wedding, and the bride's father made a moving speech. Suddenly, I realized that I would never get that moment, my dad speaking about me in adulthood at my wedding. It was devastating. Like a twist of fate, Emma faced public criticism like never before. The reason being her endless online escapades of painting herself the victim when her husband is fighting the toughest battle of his life. In an interview with Today, she said,
"You know, what I'm learning is that dementia is hard. It's hard on the person diagnosed. It's also hard on the family. And that is no different for Bruce."
Now, this was not a one-time thing that Emma used Bruce as a crutch to gain public attention. In her recent Instagram speech, she said, "I just saw something about me getting my 5 minutes, which is great, which means that you're listening. So I'm going to take my 5 minutes, and I'm going to turn it into 10 because I'm always going to advocate for my husband. While I'm at it, I'm going to raise awareness around FTD and for caregivers who are unsung heroes out there. I am going to turn my grief and my anger and my sadness and do something good around something that feels less than." At first glance, it looks like Emma is actually worried for her husband, but if you listen to her words more closely, you will realize that she is undeniably painting herself as some kind of a hero who has to go through something terrible, which is quite opposite of what is taking place.
"Watch this space because I didn't come to play."
Emma's comments about Bruce's disease aren't the only thing that has struck the fans suspicious. You see, Radar Online reported the news that just days before the diagnosis, Bruce had his will revised. According to sources, the renowned actor has made plans to distribute his substantial $250 million fortune among his family members, which includes his daughters from his previous marriage to Demi Moore, as well as his current spouse and their children. However, insiders claim that Bruce has decided to allocate a relatively modest sum sum of $1 million each to his daughters Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah, which amounts to a mere 1% of his overall net worth. These sources further allege that the majority of Bruce's considerable wealth will be designated to his current wife, Emma, and their 2 young daughters. The source said Bruce wanted to make sure his young family was taken care of. He believes Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah have gotten the best of what he has to offer financially throughout their lives. Bruce's will was actually redone years ago after he married Emma in 2009, was amended after the children were born, and then again when it was clear Bruce's health was failing. Bruce also believes Demi, who is worth an estimated $200 million, will always be there for Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah. These revelations rocked the industry to its core, as another insider claimed that Bruce's health condition was getting worse. Bruce is in a precarious state with his aphasia. He doesn't always understand what is being talked about and how to respond. During this time when Bruce's whole situation blew up, the rumors also started swirling around that the exes had rekindled their romantic relationship while shunning the new family in the process.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, here we go. 1, 2. Come on, pick it up.
However, Emma was quick to shut the rumors down by saying, "Let's nip this one in the bud. This is so dumb. Please stop." Since Demi had been through hell due to public criticism, she stepped up to help Emma in this ordeal. In a social media post, Demi wrote, "I see her as family who I am honored to call a friend. Our children are sisters, and yet there is no name for what our family connection is to one another. We are mothers united, sisters bonded on this crazy adventure of life. Emma is a beautiful mother dedicated to her family, an absolutely gorgeous woman, and now she can add business entrepreneur to her resume. Her drive, determination, and passion is uplifting, and the woman that she is absolutely inspiring." Now you might be wondering how Bruce's family put the blame on Hollywood for his condition. If you look at the deets in the long run, you can infer that the Hollywood personnel knew what was happening to Bruce long before any of his family members did. The LA Times reported that just days before Willis was scheduled to turn up on the set of one of his latest action films, the director of the project sent out an urgent request to make the movie star's part smaller. Mike Burns, the director of Out of Death.
Hi, Uncle Jack.
The old cabin looks good.
Country will be good for you. This lake?
He wrote in an email to the film's screenwriter, "It looks like we need to knock down Bruce's page count by about 5 pages. We also need to abbreviate his dialogue a bit so that there are no monologues, etc." Burns chose not to explicitly mention one of the reasons behind the need for keeping Willis's lines short and sweet. However, the public was soon made aware of a matter that had been a source of concern for Burns and numerous other filmmakers over the years. Bruce's family revealed his dreadful diagnosis of aphasia.
The family of legendary and beloved actor Bruce Willis announced that he had been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia.
Despite the challenges and difficulties that Bruce reportedly faced, he continued to receive film roles. He starred in an impressive 21 movies over the past 4 years. Sources cited in the Los Angeles Times have indicated that the last 2 years were particularly tough for the actor. However, even during this period, Willis managed to appear in at least 15 films. It is worth noting that the majority of these projects were low-budget endeavors, often with budgets of $10 million or less, in contrast to the average budget of $65 million for mainstream studio productions. These movies typically belong to the violent action genre, known for their international appeal and commercial success. To add to that, there was a buzz last year that Willis was having issues with productions dating back to 2020, when the busy former Pulp Fiction star was making a string of mostly B-action movies. A source told Page Six he was having cognitive problems. They all knew Bruce was having problems. Everybody knew, the cast and crew. His family has stepped in. They moved in to take care of him. Willis was using earpieces, hearing things, for them to feed him the lines, and it was increasingly difficult to have him on screen. It became very apparent that he was having problems, so they'd use body doubles, not just for action sequences, but for maximizing his screen time. In a devastating statement, Bruce said, "To Bruce's amazing supporters, as a family, we wanted to share that our beloved Bruce has been experiencing some health issues and has recently been diagnosed with aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive abilities. As a result of this, and with much consideration, Bruce is stepping away from the career that has meant so much to him. We are moving through this as a strong family unit and wanted to bring his fans in because we know how much he means to you, as you do to him. As Bruce always says, live it up. And together, we plan to do just that.
What I see is I see love when I'm with him, and it's my dad, and he loves me, which is really special.
You see, in the world of filmmaking, there is a recognition among producers and distributors that there exists a dedicated global fan base for genre films, particularly those in violent action. These types of productions often rely more on visual storytelling and have simple plot lines, where dialogue plays a lesser role. Independent producers operating outside the major studio system face the challenge of raising funds for their projects on their own. To attract potential investors, they heavily rely on the movie's poster as a vital sales tool. Before even shooting a single frame of the film, producers create a captivating poster that showcases the movie's concept and aesthetic. These posters are then showcased at various international film markets, where prospective investors evaluate and decide which projects to back. Having the face of a well-known actor on the movie's poster significantly increases the chances of securing financial support. This holds true even if the actor may be considered past their prime or their role in the film is limited to a few lines and scenes. In short, they needed Bruce Willis, and Willis may have needed them. However, there may have been a sincere effort on the part of his agents and managers to keep him busy and engaged, as a way to delay the worst of what his disease would eventually bring. However, at a certain point, most likely sometime in the last 2 years, if reports are correct, a health line seems to have been crossed.
He was tired, and I can see that there was also some cognitive issues going on, and I, was concerned at that point.
But the work continued. Rumors swirled and stories were swapped, but posters still got made and investors signed checks. Directors and fellow actors reportedly worked hard to protect Willis, to keep the production going, and to make sure he looked good in the final cut. A production supervisor who worked with Willis recently told the Los Angeles Times that the actor struggled to get through the day, but never gave up. The supervisor said, "He just looked so lost, and he would say, 'I'll do my best.' He always tried his best." When Willis's condition became public knowledge, Burns admitted that he knew Bruce had not been himself for a while. "After the first day of working with Bruce, I could see it firsthand, and I realized that there was a bigger issue at stake here, and why I had been asked to shorten his lines. I didn't think he was better. I thought he was worse. After we finished, I said, 'I'm done. I'm not going to do any other Bruce Willis movies.' I am relieved that he is taking time off." To make things worse, friends and family of Bruce believe that a head injury he suffered on the set of the 2002 action movie Tears of the Sun could be the cause of the debilitating brain disease that has ended his career, but a special effects worker on the movie denied the claim. An unnamed friend told The Sun that his family believes that the disability could be linked to a hit he took to the head on the action rescue film. Willis sued the production company, Revolution Studio, and the action movie's special effects professional Joe Pancake in 2004, claiming he had suffered substantial mental and physical injuries after he had been hit by a squib during the October 2002 production. Interestingly, Pancake called Willis's injuries bull in an interview with DailyMail.com. "In my 38 years of experience, I know that they don't fly up and hit you in the head," he said. "He tried to blame my department. He dragged my name through the mud for 2 years. It was bullsh. He was great to work with. Me and him got along great until he named me in the suit. I wasn't even the special effect coordinator, but he remembered my name." According to the special effects guy, Willis and 3 other actors were firing off hundreds of rounds of blanks from their automatic rifles, and a hot shell casing hit the actor in the forehead. Sadly, this wasn't the only accident Willis had on set. While Die Hard solidified Bruce Willis as a Hollywood icon, the 1988 film also left the actor severely compromised. Always the reticent one, Willis briefly alluded to the issue during a 2007 interview with The Guardian. When asked what his most unappealing habit was, Willis said, "Due to an accident on the first Die Hard, I suffered 2/3 partial hearing loss in my left ear and have a tendency to say, wah." The movie was famous for its authentic explosions. John DeBont, the cinematographer, told Slash Film, "The only one that's shot on miniature is the very top of the building. But many other explosions in the building are actually real explosions. For instance, when the police come in with that vehicle and Hans Gruber's henchmen are shooting those rocket launchers at it, that is all real." According to Rumor Willis, the eldest daughter of the star, her father's partial deafness is a significant factor in his reserved demeanor during interviews. She expanded on the matter, as reported by Amplifon. Rumor further revealed that even in the comfort of their home, her renowned father occasionally struggles to catch certain sounds or conversations. I think part of the problem is sometimes he can't hear, because he shot a gun off next to his ear when he was doing Die Hard a long time ago. If me and my sisters get together and he's at a dinner table and we start talking about fashion and things, the poor guy. When Bruce was granted a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2002, he confessed that he never really saw fame coming for him. According to The Guardian, he said at the ceremony, "I used to come down here and look at these stars and I could never quite figure out what you were supposed to do to get one. Time has passed and now here I am doing this, and I'm still excited. I'm still excited to be an actor." Fans believe that they had also heard stories about their hero before there was the official announcement. I've read stories about Bruce suddenly not knowing why he's on a movie set or who people are, ever people he's close with. More than aphasia is going on with Bruce. Truthfully, it sounds like he's developed general dementia, and his family is trying to salvage his legacy from the stigma associated with that. Life wasn't always kind to Willis, as he faced a serious loss in 2001 when his younger brother, Robert Willis, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, according to the New York Times. It was only 6 weeks after the diagnosis that Robert passed away at the age of 42. The event was harrowing for Bruce, who quoted his brother to the newspaper. In these words, he said, "Look, this does not scare me. I accept this, and I know that you guys are going to grieve, but don't grieve too hard. It's a good message to people. To live it up, you know." I remember a saying that was really popular when I was a kid: "Save for a rainy day." I think it's raining right now. I think you shouldn't postpone happiness at any time. But with grief came the desire for answers, and Bruce later sought out a medium to contact Robert. This woman is someone who can receive information from the other side. She began speaking in the voice of my brother, cursing like he did. Tears rolled down my face, and now I know the switch is not turned off, that there is life after death. I don't know how it works, but I believe it. Aside from that, a sore spot in Bruce's career revolves around the many movie misses. While he was once one of the most sought-after actors in Hollywood, something shifted with the release of Hudson Hawk, a comedy featuring Willis as a freshly released convict. The film scored a measly 33% on Rotten Tomatoes and spawned many articles attempting to see at least something worthwhile in the film.
Hey, what is that? Girls, can I ask you a question? How do I look?
Like a fraternity thing?
In 2017, The New Yorker published an article titled "The Misunderstood Ambition of Hudson Hawk" in an attempt to provide a fresh perspective on the film. However, even in their effort to offer a new viewpoint, the article ultimately criticized the movie. The New Yorker's analysis suggested that the film fell short in its comedic execution. Despite this criticism, the article did offer some praise for Hudson Hawk. It acknowledged the movie's remarkable and extravagant display of imagination, describing it as prodigious and even profligate. But the movie also set in motion a list of flops for Willis, so that he dropped from being Hollywood's darling to being the guy riding on the fame of Die Hard. Ex-wife Demi Moore poked some serious fun at this during her Comedy Central roast. After our divorce, he said he considered the end of our marriage his biggest failure. But Bruce, don't be so hard on yourself. You've had much bigger failures. I mean, Planet Hollywood, Hudson Hawk, Striking Distance, campaigning for Michael Dukakis, turning down George Clooney's role in Ocean's 11 to focus on playing the harmonica. Dang, no mercy shown there. Most of you might not know that Bruce Willis did not have an easy childhood and faced bullying and embarrassment because he stuttered. The condition began when he was 6, and as he told The Hollywood Reporter, "I had no plan, no help, just flailing wildly for a really long time. There was a lot of bullying in my life, and I had to fight my way out. Kids get mean." Bruce was also honored at the American Institute of Stuttering. In his speech, he said,
"I was a stutterer for many years, and when I heard that I was going to be honored here today..."
Willis found salvation in acting during a challenging period. According to John Parker's Bruce Willis, the unauthorized biography, the actor once expressed, as cited by the Stuttering Foundation, that acting played a transformative role in his life. He said, "I could hardly talk. It took me 3 minutes to complete a sentence. It was crushing for anyone who wanted to express themselves, who wanted to be heard and couldn't. It was frightening. Yet when I became another character in a play, I lost the stutter. It was phenomenal." My advice to the people in this room is to never let anyone make you feel like an outcast, because you will never be an outcast. In this sensitive time of need, fans all over the world are paying tribute to their childhood hero, our hero forever. Bruce Willis has always been a father we all wish we had. The world is better because he showed what it meant to be a man or father or husband and hero. Thanks, Bruce, for being the man we all wish we could have seen in our lives. Prayers to his family and children. All in all, the fact stands that the inner personnel of the industry knew what was happening with Bruce, but they decided to milk him till he ran dry. That's it for today. See you at the next one. Goodbye.